what's going on? You are listening to Pull the Plug Podcast with myself, Mrs. Godzilla.
And me, Justin G.
Hey.
It's just us two fucking idiots right now.
Yeah, things happen, life happens, but this week we have too good of a show to not release it like ASAP.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This needs to get out like tomorrow.
We're doing a public service.
You're welcome.
So, yeah, no Brian or no Sarah, but, the G's are here.
That's right. And really...
G gonna give it to you is what I'm saying.
That's what that shirt says that I'm imploring everybody to buy, please.
Yeah, merch at ptppodcast.com.
That's right. Got a fun little show for you. Now, before we talk about what's coming up on tonight's show, I wanted to give you a little breakdown of some we're fans of dirty facts here, right? We like a little naughtiness, right?
I mean, from time to time.
Well, the show will be filled with great music, I can assure you, but also a little bit of naughtiness. And we're starting here. E-Bombs World. You guys know that was a site still? Like it's still a thing?
Still around.
It's still around.
Man, that's from the depths of the internet right there.
They basically just do like listicles now, which is fine because I love that shit. But they have a list of dirty facts that prove historical figures were absolute freaks, which piqued my interest.
Yeah.
We're not going to go through all of them, but the link will be shared in the show notes down below in your podcast player there. Ben Franklin, for instance, one of the presidents and founding members of the great nation in the United States of America, down south there. He liked to stand nude in front of open windows because he had no shame at all.
Yeah, I like to do that actually at the front of our house as well.
That's why we have
no shame.
So many complaints.
No shame, no friends.
F. Scott Fitzgerald, his wife Zelda, told him that the way he was built, he would never please a woman. Which is hard to hear from...
Self-awareness, though. Wow.
No, but you don't want to hear that from your wife. That's kind of shitty. So he confessed this to Ernest Hemingway in a French bar, and Hemingway told him to meet him in the bathroom where he looked at Fitzgerald's dick and told him he was, quote, perfectly fine.
Oh.
So
Zelda just... a little bit of a bitch.
A little bit of a bitch. Listen, ladies, this is just a little side thing. If he's not that big... it just means it's perfect for backdoor action.
Oh, dear Lord. Yeah, I guess you're right.
Victor Hugo was a very diligent visitor at Parisian brothels, so much so that the day he was buried, all the Parisian brothels closed for the day so prostitutes could go to the funeral.
Sex workers.
Well, sex workers.
After I just called Zelda Fitzgerald a bitch.
Bitch, yeah.
Ugh. Oh, man.
James Joyce wrote absolutely filthy letters to his wife, Nora. Like talking about like anal sex and going down on her and like just wanting to just do horrendous things to her body, like sexually horrendous things to her body. Like just, it's good times.
Wow.
Good times.
A writer.
Yeah. Lord Byron was an anorexic, drug and sex addict who had sex with his sister.
Oh no.
A lot.
No.
Mozart apparently was kinky as shit. He wrote a song or a poem which roughly translates to modern English as "lick my ass."
Oh my God.
And I'll leave you with this one. There's a ton. Actually, no, I've got two more. Sorry. Peter the Great scoured the Russian Empire in search of dwarfs and giants in an effort to breed a race of each.
I have heard this before.
While he couldn't find enough giants, he found many dwarfs.
Right.
He would bake a huge pie and have a dwarf get naked and wait inside of it to jump out and scare guests at parties.
Wow.
It's a little fucked up.
Wow.
And finally, Napoleon liked his women smelly. He once wrote to Josephine, quote, "I will be home in 3 days. Don't wash."
What a weird kink.
Look, hey, we're not here to kink shame at all, and I know that's not what you're doing, but that is an odd one.
Like,
it's a choice.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember watching like in Canada here the showcase Red Shoe Diaries on like Friday nights or whatever.
Yeah. That was my sexual education right there.
And like people like that are into mustard and stuff, and you're like, what's happening? Why is this a thing? And not bathing. That's
never made much sense to me.
No.
But hey, again, do what you got to do.
Learn something new every day.
Live your life.
Yeah.
So that's just a fun little thing to get us into the show. And we may have some new listeners this week because of our musical guest.
That's right. And apologies in advance, but at least we led with this to give you a taste of what is to come this evening. But I promise you, if that's not your thing, there's more.
There's more, but we have podcast chapter markers. You can skip the chapters. You can see that, if you want to get to the good stuff, it's coming up. You can go ahead and skip it. That's fine. We understand.
That's absolutely right. This week we are so thrilled to welcome our very special guest, Eric Bolton, from Cambridge, Ontario. A nice local boy here. New music out. We're gonna get a taste of some of that this week as well. 3 live tracks that he performed for us in his very own studios out of Cambridge, Ebolt Music, and we are so excited to have him on. So yeah, stick around, Eric Bolton fans, and for those of you who are Pull the Plug podcast fans,
you're gonna like him too.
Here you are.
Yeah, you are. You this is what you're used to.
And don't skip the chapter marks because we've got more random dirty shit to come.
Well, we're going to talk about this time traveler who apparently is saying the aliens are coming and 3-foot spiders and all this kind of shit. It's coming in the new year, so I'm very excited about that. And the voice controlled dick sucking machine is something that we're going to be. That's at the end of the show. That's after the Eric Bolton interview.
Yes. So Eric Bolton fans, if you're like, hey, do you know what? I'm not interested in a dick sucking machine.
First of all, why not?
I mean,
but
question your choices. But you can stick around for everything Eric has to offer, and then bail. But I mean, the mystery around this machine is enough to carry us through for the rest of the day.
It'll get us there.
So stick with us,
just like the machine will.
And make your decision after that.
That's right.
Yeah.
If you want to stay updated with anything Pull the Plug related, head over to our website,
PTPpodcast.com.
And let's get into the first Eric Bolton song here. This is he performed this song, as Shannon said, live in his studio. This is Lessons in Love here on Pull the Plug.
It's hard to take my story and lay it out in song, rhyming out the years while my heart just beats along. Learning how to sing has been a lesson in love, with kindness for the road, from where I've been to where I'll go. Sometimes the tenser moments can be tough to navigate. Emotions run so high and it's so hard to see things straight. Learning how to sing has been a lesson in grace, one I hope to hold forevermore, evermore. And I'm face to face with the life I have made. Through the songs I feel free to take it all less seriously. A story isn't hard to write when you love along the way. Just try to make it rhyme when you sing. Oh, I could curse my weary mind for reading too much into things, fighting for perfection when I should simply let them be. So learning how to sing has been learning to breathe, and what will be, will be. So let it be, let it be. And I'm face to face with the life I've made. Through the songs I feel free to take it all as seriously. A story isn't hard to write when you love along the way. Just try to make it rhyme when you sing. life I've made. Through the songs I feel free to take it all less seriously. A story isn't hard to write when you love along the way. Just try to make it rhyme when you sing.
Lessons in Love from Eric Bolton there. You are listening to Pull the Plug Podcast. And before we get to our fantastic interview with Eric Bolton.
That's right.
I need to give you a warning. The aliens are coming.
Oh, no. What?
Yeah.
I hope they're friendly.
Well, it's from a self-professed time traveler from the year 2671. It's a TikTok user who goes by the name of Eno Alaric? Alaric? It doesn't matter. Why would that matter? Has said that aliens are going to crash on Earth in a giant meteor on the 8th of December.
Very specific.
So I do appreciate the specificity of it, which is, it sounds like, it's going to be happening sometime next year.
Yeah.
And then he can claim, when it doesn't happen, the time stream fucked with my brain or something.
At least the 8th of December, we can plan for it. We can get through Dutch Christmas, which is great.
Great. Love that.
For those
I know everyone's
festivities.
really stoked on that.
Yeah. Tell me more.
And alongside that, this content creator also warned about 4 other events that are going to take place over the next 6 months. So they started off the recent video with the caption, "Attention," in all caps, because you got to get the people's attention.
Yeah.
Yes, I am a real-time traveler from the year 2671. Remember these 5 dates to come. So he says he is a real-time traveler, so he's not lying. So that's good.
Yeah.
It's good to confirm your identity.
Fact-checking,
Yeah,
yep.
absolutely. The first one is supposed to be on November 30th. So in just over a month from recording, when the James Webb Telescope, new telescope that NASA launched into space earlier this year, will find a, quote, new planet that is a mirrored version of Earth.
Wow, that's exciting.
That'd be huge fucking news.
That's really
Can you imagine? Second is the alien invasion, which they claim will happen when a large meteor hits Earth containing new types of metals and alien species.
Okay.
Now, not out of the realm of possibility.
Absolutely.
Could happen. I don't know why aliens would live on a meteor, because any meteor that's big enough to live on would kill us. So,
right. No, I mean, they're just hitching a ride, and we don't know how small they are.
That's a good point. Maybe they're tiny little ants.
Yeah, that's right.
And
then they can grow on Earth.
See, we're going to talk about bigger ants in a little bit, actually. On February 6th, 2023 of next year, another bad event is on the cards, as the so-called time traveler says. Quote, a group of 4 teenagers, this is where he starts to lose me, I'll say a little. A group of 4 teenagers discover ancient ruins.
Okay.
And a device that opens a wormhole to other galaxies.
Do you know what? Again, he's so specific, and the fact that he's providing us dates, I mean, this is all happening very soon. Like, it's all at once.
It's all at once. It seems almost too far-fetched to be true.
Do you know what, though? Maybe he's told us about past events and that have happened, and we just don't know about them.
Because they didn't happen?
No, they happened.
Oh,
they've just not gained, newsworthy traction.
He's burying the lead when he's like, on this date, so-and-so is buying a tuna sandwich.
That's right.
And he's going to get sick from it.
Yeah.
So he's just, he led with that.
Right.
Oh, it's an interesting choice. But I like where your head's at.
Right.
So following the whole wormhole to another galaxy thing, that will then be followed in March when a team of scientists exploring the Marianas Trench find ancient species. Just ancient species. That could be anything. That could be just an old fish.
But if you're going to find it anywhere, that's where you're going to find it.
Where you'd find it.
I mean, that's terrifying.
And finally, in May, a rather catastrophic event will be happening as a, quote, 750-foot mega tsunami hits the U.S. West Coast, but mainly affecting San Francisco.
Oh, shit.
So that sucks.
Yeah, big time.
And this isn't the first time, apparently, this person has issued warnings for the future.
Okay. Here we go.
It's beginning to kind of, it's kind of becoming difficult to keep up with their claims, frankly. So just to name a few, the creator also claimed that a 3-foot spider will be discovered in January of 2023. 3-foot spider.
Okay.
Alongside an 18-foot bear. I want to know, is it long or like how 18 feet? And a foot-long ant.
So this person is just really expecting a lot of gargantuan creatures.
A lot of very large animals.
What a weird prediction to make.
It's strange. In their first ever TikTok, they said they chose to come back to this year because, quote, dark times are ahead. I hope that'll be able to change what the future has in hold for you, all by warning what is to come. And TikTok users have been reacting to the claims not very seriously. You know,
Imagine.
One commenter said, if you're a time traveler, when am I going to get a girlfriend? Second jokingly added, can you predict when my dad will come back?
Oh, no.
And someone else could, and on the second Tuesday of next week, McDonald's ice cream machines might actually start working. So
Do you know what, though? I really doubt it.
that seems a little too far-fetched.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got about a month-ish until some crazy shit starts happening.
Do you know the biggest takeaway from this is that this time traveler knows how to use TikTok, which means buy stock.
Because it's clearly been around.
There's longevity to this app, guys.
So, I mean, the aliens can't be that bad because if he's been around, you know, if human beings are still around in like 600 years after an alien invasion, like
They're friendly.
they're at least not that competent
Yeah.
if they want to take us over. So that's a good sign too.
That's right.
Find the show notes as well as ways to get in contact with us over at our website.
PTPpodcast.com. And guys, stay tuned. We've got our interview coming up with Eric Bolton. If you want to learn more about Eric, ericbolton.ca, new album out now, Here Between. And we're going to get to that soon. But first,
We got another song. This one's by Ida Skodt. This is Victoria here on Pull the Plug.
Suddenly rains on us, the cold is out to reach. The pain we feel inside, knowing that you've gone away. But it doesn't seem real to us that we won't hear your laugh again. We know the angels came to take you to a better place. Victoria, you're everywhere it seems. And now you're smiling down. Please remember that you're not alone. When the sun got up, I thought of you. With all of these past times and memories you put us through. And for every day, just another step from seeing you. Victoria, you're everywhere it seems. And even though you're smiling down, please remember that you're not alone. It's getting cold without you here. With inner stained eyes that fills up with tears. But know that we'll always love you. Victoria, you're everywhere it seems. And even though you're smiling down, please remember that you're not alone. You're not alone.
All right. today here on PTP, we are honored to sit down with Canadian singer-songwriter, music educator, and Galt Love founder, Eric Bolton. Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
New album just released, Here Between. It's out now, and the album release show is just under your belt. Tell us a little bit about the album and how it feels to finally have it available to listeners.
Okay, deal. I could talk about this forever, so
Good,
I'll try to keep it shorter. This album has been a year in the making in its literal form, but then really some of the songs have been around for like 6-7 years.
Amazing.
So it's been a long time coming. I've wanted to do a solo project for ages, and I have another band, Shy Harry, and we've done a few albums together. That's always ended up being the focus for my writing, but more and more, just especially with COVID and lockdown, I was doing so much on my own, and I have a music studio, so it was like, hey, I could actually use this. Even though we're in lockdowns, I have a studio I can go to. So I was very grateful for that. And finally started recording this album. And it went really, really, really well. But it was 6 months of actual recording. And the project kept expanding.
Yeah.
Again, I could talk forever. So I'll quickly say what happened was I put out one song in September 2021 called The Home Light, and with the full intention of then in October starting to record an EP of songs.
Okay.
And I even booked a rad studio in Hamilton called Halo, and ridiculously talented musicians to join me, and we were going to create this EP live off the floor. And then after The Home Light came out, like 2 weeks later, still not at the time of going into record the EP, I found out that The Home Light was up for track of the week with Classic Rock magazine.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was super, super random because like I'm not a famous guy. And so I was like, how did that happen? That's got to be a total mistake. They've tagged the wrong Eric Bolton. And then I looked, and sure enough, it was my song.
Wow.
And was starting to get UK radio play. And then so this company over in the UK that I was working with said, well, this is great, but in the UK, we don't care about EPs. We care about full albums. And so I was like, well,
I had no idea.
I know. I had no
What?
idea. Yeah.
That's nuts.
I don't really know why that is. Maybe it's like an all or nothing situation, or they want
Damn
like
Brits.
I know. Oh man. So I was suddenly like, well, what do I do? I only have an EP organized. And then they're like, well, I guess you have to write more songs. And so
No pressure.
Yes. So I booked the studio again and did a whole other weekend of just tracking. And most of those songs I didn't have any lyrics for. It was just musical ideas. And then I went into the process of trying to write lyrics. And it was interesting. It was like, hey, on this day, we're recording the vocals for these two songs. So have the lyrics done by then.
Wow.
And so it was just go, go, go. But it extended the project a fair bit. Then finally in May, we did the last thing, which was tracking a choir over top of 4 of the songs. And then now the last 4 or 5 months have been just the business side of things. So now that it's actually here, it's re-energized me like away from the business side and back to the creation of the music.
Yeah.
You don't get energized by the business side of things?
Imagine.
Oh my goodness, I hate it. Like I guess every year I get more intrigued by it by learning more about the music industry, but man, no. Also, every year I just more wish someone else would do that for me. Yeah. It's really weird because like you spend so much time creating something and pouring so much passion into it, but then like when it comes to then it becomes just a product, and it's just like all that creativity and stuff just gets put to the side, and you have to instead just sell it, and it's so not me, and you get so many people with varying views as to what you're like. You'll have random people be like, oh yeah, no, this album's no good. and then other people are like, oh, this album's amazing, 9 out of 10. And you're like, cool. Like, and it's so hit and miss, and you're just like finding those niche like pockets and where your audience is. And I hate that. I just want to go on a stage and play music.
And I've always found that such like a daunting notion with being a musician, that you take something that is so personal, that these are words and that you've written down, music that you've created, and it's so a part of you, and then you're like, here, everybody else,
Yeah.
enjoy.
Don't be nice, please.
Yeah. Like, oh man, that's next level. That I can't imagine having to do that.
Oh, it's interesting. I think I don't know. I feel like it's another thing. You learn more every year, but one of the things is you slowly learn to not take everything super seriously and sort of just kind of let things go. And if it's the right fit, it's the right fit. If it's not, it's not. And don't force it. Yeah. I don't know, but people are interesting. I had someone recently just say, hey, we'd love to work with you. And the response, instead of being anything sort of just, kind or getting around, it was just, I appreciate that you're interested. It's not reciprocated.
That was a slammed door.
I was like, oh, okay, cool. So, yeah, no gently closing that door. It was just, wow. So I was like, okay, deal. But then the next day you get an email from someone saying, like, this is awesome. You're going to be in rotation on our radio station, like, for the next 3 months. We love this song. And so it's kind of weird. Like, you're like one day you're like slammed to the ground. On the next day you're really encouraged and elevated. And so you sort of have to not take the good or the bad. You kind of can't take it too seriously.
Yeah. Oh.
You have to remember that it's so like subjective for people, right? Like, and how they feel at that particular time, right? Like,
I agree.
That's gotta mess with you.
It does.
Oh man.
But it's true of even the messaging in music. Like, I have my reasons why I wrote the songs, and then someone might interpret them for their own reasons, and that's great. I love that about art. But you just never know if it's going to be something that resonates with people, and maybe it doesn't today, but in a year, someone will be in a spot where like, oh, that means something to me now.
That's
and
right.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Man.
It might be asking like if you have like somebody like, what's your favorite child? But do you have like a particular favorite song on the record, or one that like really like, if you want to listen to one song on the record, make it this one.
Make it this one. Oh, okay. So I am really proud of course, the whole album, but the last like 4 songs really, to me, are the strength of the album and the real beautiful, like, I don't know, just something about those last 4 tunes is really, it's all one big vibe. Like it almost feels like one big song. Those songs are Steady My Love, You, Echoes, and Lost Part of Me. And they're just all kind of heavy hitting. I think if I had to pick a current favorite, because it changes every day, it would be Steady My Love, because Steady My Love, when we played it live this past weekend, just at their 3 album release shows, like each time we played Steady My Love, it just felt like something special happened live.
Okay. Yeah.
And I really, really, that second half of the song especially just drops into something that I think is really, 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 really special. So I would say right now, Steady My Love, but really any of those last 4 songs are probably my favorites. Shuffle between those 4 songs.
Okay, nice. I like that.
And who were you listening to, or who really inspired you while you were writing? I mean, like you said, it was a long process, but anyone in particular that you can grasp at that inspired parts of the album?
I definitely have I'm such a 90s rock fan.
Yeah.
So
that comes through, by the way.
I was gonna say,
I said that when we were listening to it.
Never know it.
That comes through.
Oh man, so there's a lot of random, like, each song is fairly different from each other. Like there's different vibes. Like there's some full rock tunes and there's some more like almost soul folk tunes, and so it's fairly different. But big influences would be like Chris Cornell. I love him. Definitely Pearl Jam, Eddie Vedder. Songwriters, like I also appreciate they're newer than the 90s, but like Glenn Hansard and John Mayer, of course. He's just such a monster. Actually, Steady My Love to me is such a John Mayer song. But then even like the last song is, in my mind, is very, like, I was thinking Bruce Springsteen, because it started as a piano lick that I was playing, and I was like, oh, this sounds to me like it's going into a Springsteen song. And then so that changed then kind of how I approached the rhythm guitar, well, let's get it and let that like upbeat Springsteen feel. And so it kind of changed song to song, that's for sure. Like even like Tears of the Sky, I don't know why, but I was thinking about African music.
Cool.
Like, I don't know.
Oh,
It's
cool.
really random. But yeah, I like that there's a pretty broad range on it. But I would say the big artists that influenced me have been mostly 90s rock guys.
And in saying that, you've released a covers album or a few covers albums,
Yeah.
and you play weddings. How is it different? I guess not different, but the dynamic between doing covers and really getting people to do the big sing-alongs at weddings, and you see them up dancing, versus wearing your heart on your sleeve, putting your own original material out there on this album.
I think like I love, so it's kind of like the same before. Like I have my reasons why I wrote my songs, and other artists have reasons why they wrote their songs. But ultimately, like when I listen to another artist's song, I might find a lot of strength in knowing their story behind the song, and I might get so much out of like the details of what inspired it. But ultimately, I attach my story to it naturally. So when I sing someone else's song, I go to like the words of how it resonates with me and where I've been in my life. So I get really into it that way. And you know, there's usually one or two lines that are still a mystery. But it's fun to kind of step into where they might be thinking. And so then for me, with my own music, I just know exactly what I'm thinking, and so I get a chance to almost like go back to those places. But yeah, I think the one thing I would say, and the pandemic kind of taught me this, and one of the reasons I wanted to do cover albums was I think for me, part of my processing of life is through singing songs. And so when I sing someone else's song, it might be, you know, maybe it's a sad song, and maybe in my life I'm not feeling too sad, but for those 3 minutes of playing that song, I'm going to go there, I'm going to address it, and I'm going to kind of let myself feel those things. And then so when we weren't playing shows and you're not sharing that, I found I wasn't going to all those places of myself because I wasn't like channeling. Like, you know, maybe you have an angsty song or an aggressive tune, and you're like kind of, you go there and you let yourself get that out. And I wasn't doing that. So doing a cover tunes album just seemed like the way to sort of step into those little parts of myself as well.
Love
I like that.
that.
Yeah.
Also, the father and son cover that you did, it will destroy me.
Thank you. That song kills me too.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, so good.
Cat Stevens, oh my goodness. He's another massive influence. Okay, there
Sure.
we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, playing a lot of weddings locally. Your studios are here in Cambridge, Ontario. Clearly a lot of love for Cambridge. You are the founder of Galt Love. Can you tell us a little bit about what it means to you to be so like immersed in the community and what Galt Love is all about?
Sure. Galt Love. Okay, so I started Galt Love years ago now. I think 6 or 7 years ago. Just because I really have spent so much time in this community of Cambridge and love it. But when it comes to Waterloo Region, and to listeners who don't know Waterloo Region, they'll be confused, but it's like 3 towns that are connected into one. Cambridge kind of always gets like the short end of everything, and it was too bad because we have this beautiful historic town like right on the river, and it's stunning, all this old architecture, and it just didn't seem like it was being properly represented when it came to the region. So I just decided, hey, for everyone who lives here, we love it and we have a great time and everyone knows each other and it's super cool. So I thought, let's start just a social media movement. But at the time, I also partnered it with doing Galt Love Nights, where the first Friday of every month, stores would stay open later and people come out and we do live music and just make it a whole grassroots community time.
Wow.
And it was really great. And we haven't started those up again since all the lockdowns and everything. I've now been so focused on other things, but But no, this community is really, really wonderful. And even when I mentioned like that classic rock magazine thing, I won it. It was a voting thing. And when I won it, they said we've never had so many Canadian voters for one of their competitions. Yeah. And I was like, that was Cambridge. That's this community that I love. They do, and they really do support. And I've seen that over and over again over the years, and it just makes me fall in love with it all the more. It's a great community to be a part of. It's really easy to get to know people in this town, and then people are always excited to hear what you're up to and see what they can do.
So as if you're not busy enough with everything else, you've got your studio here, Ebolt Music. Tell us a little bit about the studio, what you've got going on. It's amazing to me to think a musician has sort of unlocked the code of making music your full-time gig.
Oh man, I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah.
But it has been years and years of just trying to build something in this town, and I'm grateful that it is at a point now where, well, and it has been for a long time, where I can do this full time. Yeah. It's hard. I think a lot of people step out into the music industry and think, within 2 years they're going to have an awesome career and everything. And it just is not really the reality for most places. Most places you really have to get to know people, and they have to get to know you, and before you're getting that regular work and that good steady stream. So it takes a while, but I'm grateful to have it now. So I've had a studio now for 11 years, I think. It's cool. So, but it started off really, really small. Like I started teaching music, just going to people's homes. And one of my students happened to be a retired man who owned a big building that was underutilized, and said, well, if you need studio space, I've got a building. And he gave me a wicked deal to help me get started. And then eventually we took the leap and moved to Main Street, which was like significantly more expensive. And but yeah, it was also much more present in the community. And so we got busier and busier, and then COVID and lockdowns. And so now we're downsized again and just kind of rebuilding a bit. And but it's still been busy enough that I'm staying busy, and I'm grateful for that. And we're trying to keep the team busy and keep all the teachers busy. But yeah.
Wow. And what was your start into music? Like, was this always what you knew you were going to do? Like, what age did you pick up your first instrument?
I grew up, like, my family had us playing music growing up. Amazing. But I was the only one who really pursued it. For me, it was in high school when I picked up a guitar that I knew that this was different. I really loved that instrument, and I just dove into practicing constantly. But I still wasn't thinking a career in it. And then it was when I did some traveling, and while I was traveling, I was thinking, like, I don't have any interest in going home and diving into a science degree or anything like that. I wanted to push music. I wanted to see what was up there. And then since doing that, it's been so awesome. Like, I love people. That's ultimately it. And music is just such a great connector of people. And so I quickly saw that being involved in music really means you can be right there integrated in the community in a really cool way that other people look for opportunities of how they could get involved. And I'm grateful that music is something where you can just provide that and be there with that, and people rally around it, whether they're rich or poor or what's going on, doesn't really matter. People just kind of come together. So that was really cool. And that just sort of sparked a lot of the other decisions of then growing the studio and growing things like that, because I started to see there's so much more to this than just playing guitar. Yeah.
And since having the space here, has there been any really like wow moments that you kind of just like took a step back and went like, this is really special?
This album would be one of them. Like, I mean, Zach Gerber, he's the producer he runs all the recording side. I am the worst with anything like that. So Zach uses the space to do all the recordings. Cool. And seeing some of the stuff that he's done through this space has been amazing. Like recording through lockdowns, like he and I were adding it up. Like we've done like 70 something songs together, and other people have done albums. There's an album that's is it a Juno? There's a children's music album. Is it a Juno they're up for? And it's just like thing like that was recorded here. And then like we had someone like Sarah from Walk Off the Earth. She recorded here, and just being like, wow, our space is being used for like cooler and cooler projects. And I mean, there was really never been anything like the feeling of walking in on a day when I'm not even scheduled to teach and looking around and seeing like 6 lessons happening and different instructors, and that was really, really special. Like sort of, that there's nothing quite like that. I've definitely also remember the first time I hired someone, which is going way back, when I left the building, but the lights were still on, and be like, oh wow, it's being run without me. I'm not doing anything. It's like, that's actually really cool. So I don't know, there's been a lot of those little moments where you're like, this is special. Like, and I created it, but other people carry it. And it's really cool seeing when someone else is carrying it and creating something beautiful in the space. Yeah. Then it just, to me, that's very fulfilling.
Wow. Yeah, I love that. Now, I often ask this question as we're kind of like wrapping up things, but I've never done it while actually sitting in a studio space with somebody. You can invite 3 musicians, dead or alive, to work with you in the studio space. Who are they?
Oh, no. Easy answer. 1, Jeff Buckley.
Love, yeah.
I 100% would, I think we would have had a good time. I would also have to say Chris Cornell. I want to say Freddie Mercury. But then the problem is we have a bunch of singers. And we need a drummer. We need a bassist. We need somebody who could actually. Well, I guess Freddie plays some mean keys.
Yeah, everyone's looking around like, who's gonna lay down this?
Yeah, like who's gonna? Yeah. Oh, I mean, if I had a super band, it would probably be, like you get like John Bonham on drums, and then you get Freddie on keys, but have like somehow, I don't know, splitting vocals with all them would be so fun. I could just keep going. I've already passed 3, but like also Brandi Carlile, I would love to collaborate with her. That's a tough one. There's so many good people.
And I put you on the spot. Yeah.
But yeah, I would say Jeff Buckley, Chris Cornell for sure.
Yeah.
And let's say Freddie too, but they've all passed.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sitting down with
Thank
us
you.
today, Eric. This is just awesome. And where can our listeners find you playing live next? You've got some shows coming up.
Yeah. I'm currently lining up a whole bunch of shows to celebrate the new album. I just did a few big ones for the album release. The next one is at the Cameron House in Toronto. Nice. And I'm currently booking a few smaller theaters around Southern Ontario to do this 8-person band theater show. So this album, some shows are me solo, other shows are me with a 4-piece band, other shows it's an 8-piece band. So it kind of changes, but ericbolton.ca has all of them and where I'll be. And each one will specify if it's just me solo or with the band or what's going on. But lots of shows are being organized right now. And it's going to be shows across Canada. And it's looking very much like 2023 will have my first UK leg of shows too. So
amazing. That's
Thank
huge.
you.
Yeah,
Thank
as
you.
long as you got enough songs, right?
I know, right? Oh,
fantastic. Yeah. Well, the new album, Here Between, out now, ericbolton.ca, and keep track of that for any upcoming tour dates. And thanks again, Eric.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Wake me up, I must be dreaming. There's a calm that I've never known, with the light of gold and fresh surrender. And oh, it feels like home. A new world bright with all within me, a sunset sky with morning glow. It feels like ending and beginning, and where we're gonna go, well, I don't know. I've been tired of dreaming. Dreams have been my only guarantee. They're coming through the door without a warning. They start making me believe. I always need a reason for near or far from where they are. I think I'll give myself this season. Life is far too short, I'm learning now. Oh, I grow tired of dreaming. Dreams have been my only songs to sing. Been talking with my ghost for far too long about a life that hasn't been. I've always had a vision of a kind of life that's meant for me, but I made a strange decision years ago that brought me to my knees. Guess I sold myself a life of disbelief. But I can build my world, I can build my world of dreams.
Eric Bolton there with World of Dreams. You are listening to Pull the Plug, and it has gotten to the point now in the show, ladies and gentlemen. Look. I love Eric Bolton. Fantastic human being. Love being able to spend time with him in the studio. Fantastic music. Check out his album. Go to his website. What's that website again there, Shannon?
Super easy to remember for everybody. ericbolton.ca, and the new album, Here Between. Download it wherever you get your music, but if you have the opportunity, get it right off of his website so that more support goes to the artist, because I mean, other music players are great because you have access to music, but if you can support the artist directly, that's a big help.
That's right.
Yeah.
And look, I love all that.
I do, yes.
But here's where this is why I showed up this evening.
Go on.
We need to talk about this voice controlled dick sucking machine.
I have questions. Carry on.
So this article is from Vice. This is actually from back in July, but it's still relevant. So it starts off. I think we talked about it back in the day, back in like 2008. Actually, is when it first kind of described this male sex toy of the future called the Autoblow.
Great name.
And the site said, technology has brought people untold advancements in every aspect of life. We can drive cars, fly airplanes, you can explore the internet, and the technological advancement in male sex toys of the decade is the Autoblow. Now, the Autoblow AI Plus is the successor of the 2018 Autoblow AI, which is an automatic. Now, I'm quoting the article, okay? You're
not speaking from experience here?
Well, I'm not speaking from experience. I'd like to be. But I'm
not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor yet. These are also not my words. An automatic jerk-off machine, roughly the size and shape of a small box of wine with rounded edges. It's a fairly sizable thing, but
not impossible.
Not impossible.
Yeah.
You can hide that in a dresser if you are so inclined.
Cover it with 3 pairs of socks or something.
Yeah, exactly. So what you do is you put your dick in this like the Fleshlight like sleeve.
Right.
I really hope Eric Bolton fans are still sticking around.
Thanks for sticking with us.
Amazing.
This is the quality content you've been waiting for.
Here you go. And a ring powered by a small motor will move up and down your shaft,
Right.
massaging it in patterns and speeds that you can choose in a connected web app. So you can kind of pick and choose your rhythm, start slow, go fast, whatever. So like its predecessor, the AI Plus is not artificially intelligent. So it doesn't learn what you want, which is good. Like I don't need a robot that pleasures me to learn things. I'm not about that. But this model is internet connected and features a downloadable blowjob library and voice command features.
Wow.
So you can say things like "finish me off" and it'll just fucking like just go give her sort of thing. So devices made for sucking off a dick are a bellwether for society's views on sex toys in general. So to keep their audiences interested, sex toy makers have had to increasingly make their toys more high-tech, novel, internet-connected, cutting-edge, all that kind of stuff. So Autoblow isn't immune to this trend, and with the Autoblow AI Plus, it's testing new things. And the maker of this still believes that it is indeed the sex toy of the future. Do you want to hear how the testing process went for this person?
I do, but I just want to put in my 2 cents here. I find the notion of sex toys that connect to your technology to be a little bit daunting in the task of not perhaps maybe not remembering the settings to turn off and whatnot, so that you can still have the connectivity that you're looking for these jerk off sessions, but also block out any other interference, such as maybe your mom texting you in the middle of this said session.
Yeah.
And I think there's just a extra level of planning to this that I'm not sure I'm about.
Sure. Yeah, I think if you're sitting down with something like this, but I mean, you could almost say this for any kind of, if you're watching any kind of porn, just in general.
Fair.
Is if you're watching porn on your phone or whatever device that receives any kind of notifications, you have to plan ahead. You got to plan ahead. You got to turn on that do not disturb feature. Right. You know, like, hey, only accept calls if it's an emergency for this little bit of time here because
I'm in Walmart and I can't find your father. This is an emergency.
So I agree. There are certain things that you kind of need to be aware of when you're talking about an internet-connected device. And
anyhow, carry on.
So the test unit that this individual received, it's clear plastic case, so you can see everything that's kind of housed inside immediately.
Nice.
And the penis gripper ring clasped around a wobbly, dangling silicone sleeve. Human-like mouth perched at the opening. But the product ships in like a plain brown box. Like it's discreet shipping, as most sex toys are. So once he takes the Autoblow AI Plus out of its box, his first foray is to figure out how to get it connected to the internet.
Right.
And it doesn't connect to like an app because that's an intentional choice. Because like the Google Play and like Apple's App Store, they really strictly censor sexual speech.
Yes.
And you can't repeatedly refer to blowjobs because that would get you kicked off the platform. So you have to use like a web app. So you have to go to a website and it takes you like 5 minutes to set this whole thing up. You plug it in, you turn it on, you hold this pause button. It creates a specific Wi-Fi network that you got to then connect to. You put in a string of characters on your thing and then it's set up. It does explain it all in a video apparently, but it does take like 5 to 10 minutes to set up, which if you're somebody that's not about planning and I know a lot of guys don't read manuals and shit, like you might have some frustrations.
But still 5 to 10 minutes, like you're not asking the world of these consumers that...
No, it's not ridiculous.
It's not terrible.
So once it's set up
for this revolutionary experience,
it's incredible, and you got to see the GIFs that I'm looking at right now. It is something else. So once it's set up, he says I didn't fully trust that the machine would not inflict real damage on my very real penis. So he grabbed
That's brave to be a tester for this type of... Yeah.
So he says I grabbed a very ripe banana from my pantry for an ad hoc safety test. So this isn't something that the manufacturer suggests you should do, but he's like, I'm not trusting this 100% yet. So on my first attempt at shoving the banana into the Autoblow's waiting mouth, it became clear that doing this dry was not an option. You do need some lube. Nothing wrong with using lube in any instance whatsoever. Everybody using some lube and kind of force it in there a little bit. And you try various stroke modes in the web app, played around with the sliders that control speed and position. As the room started to smell strongly of overripe garbage, he thought for sure the banana was literally being masticated in there. But then he took it out, and the skin was unscathed. It wasn't bruised. The banana was fine.
Wow.
So apparently this new model has a voice control feature, still in beta, and the app takes care to warn the individual about this. And it says there's 6 different commands into their phone to control the movement: go, pause, faster, slower, next, and finish me.
That's amazing. Finish me.
It's like Mortal Kombat.
100%.
Feature apparently is still buggy. System doesn't understand every word on the first try. So yelling go and faster at a sex toy was kind of a new experience for this person, understandably. They're not a common feature in most toys on the market, but the maker of this is confident that this is where the market is going to be headed. Voice control is a major thing in most technology.
Yeah. Wow.
And so he has the web app. We're almost at the end of this testing period. I just want to, but this is fascinating to me. So he has the web app open, voice command page open on the phone. The banana is like bobbing along in the machine. He watches a video about how to adjust the penis gripper, so that you're not too loose or too tight.
Right. Yeah. It's a fine balance.
And he accidentally must have said words that sounded like finish me, because the Autoblow started vigorously jerking the banana off, like just giving her.
Wow.
So once it was in that mode, it's impossible to make it stop. I was yelling, pause, stop, no. Was ignored. The Autoblow was too focused on its task, and my fingers too lubed up to register on my phone screen to hit pause on the app. I had to shut it off with the on-off switch on the device. My partner peeked his head into the room during this commotion and said he thought it was on some kind of hostile Zoom meeting. And turns out I was just screaming out a slick silicone mouth. I was deep throating a banana. So
that's incredible.
It does. I haven't been able to see if he actually went ahead and tested it.
Yeah.
But I'm curious.
The notion of not being able to pause it once you yell "finish me" or say "finish me."
No.
Like, again, that's one of those moments that like suddenly someone walks into the room, or
exactly.
And you need to be able to call it quits on that.
Like you need to be able to quickly do this. But the thing is, you've got a big box over your dick, right? So it's, how discreet are you really
it's
able
a
to
dick
be?
in a box.
So I hear you asking the question, Shan. I can see it on your face right now.
Tip of my tongue.
How much does this thing cost?
Tell me.
How many am I able to buy for my friends and family for Christmas?
For this
coming
Christmas.
up soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not cheap. It is cheaper than I was anticipating.
Okay.
Retail price is $299. Sale price right now is $239.
That's not bad at all.
That's not ridiculous.
Maybe it's not a friends and family gift, but it's a special someone gift.
Special
perhaps.
someone, yeah. If somebody travels a lot and
they want to fill their entire suitcase with this thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's a box of wine essentially. So maybe not so much, but that's not stupid.
It's a loving gift for the one you love.
That's right.
That's right.
So,
wow.
Link in the show notes if you want to learn more, want to buy one. Maybe we can get some kind of affiliate program going.
Who knows? Let's give it a whirl.
I would love to try it. Just saying. Love to try it.
I would love that for you.
Yeah, thank you. So, it's autoblow.com, but again, link will be in the show notes.
At the website.
I'm just flustered now.
PTPpodcast.com.
I'm just so excited about it. We got one more song coming up from Eric Bolton. And I must say it's my favorite song off the record.
It's so exciting. Yes.
Love it. This is Eric Bolton with Neon Soul here on Pull the Plug.
Is it in me to fight my way to love? I believe I can't do this on my own, but I'm alone. It's easy to see when I close my eyes. I can feel where I need to be. I'm not dreaming anymore. Neon soul, keep me going all night long. Neon soul, take me home. This life keeps me feeling like I'm off when I'm right on time, and it's hard to see. of my life. Why was you and me? Did you really think I'd let me go? No more, it's hard to believe, but no one could speak and no one could sing for me. Why'd you try to make me doubt my soul? Why? Neon soul, keep me going all night long. Oh, neon soul, take me home. This life keeps me feeling like I'm off and I'm right on time. It's hard to see. Neon soul, keep me going all night long. On neon soul, take me home. This life keeps me feeling like I'm off when I'm right on time, and it's hard to see. Neon soul, on neon soul, take me home. This life keeps me feeling like I'm off when I'm right on time, and it's all in me.
Neon Soul, Eric Bolton, and that's going to close us out for tonight. Make sure you check Eric Bolton out, ericbolton.ca. New album Here Between, out now. What a fucking gem of a dude.
Oh, I just an awesome guy, fantastic musician. Just super like nice and chill and rad, you know? Like there's far too little people out there that are just like good, rad people. Yeah. You know, and Eric Bolton is one of them. So kudos to you, sir.
Yeah, he was a ton of fun. He was a very gracious host in his studios. And yeah, check him out. Just unbelievable guy. So Here Between, and if you can buy his music or merch on his own website, go for it.
Yeah, do it.
Support him.
Support the artists that you love, people.
That's right. I mean,
God's sake.
Literally buying someone's t-shirt supports them like tenfold over listening to their music on Spotify or Apple Music.
And frankly, you need a new shirt.
You need a new shirt.
You need a new shirt. Just this week, if you're thinking about buying a shirt, don't go to ptppodcast.com to our merch place. Go to Eric Bolton's website.
That's right.
Get a shirt there. Buy the music. And then next week, get that G Gonna Give It To You shirt.
That's right.
That's for the friends and family.
Yeah, that's Christmas is coming up, kids.
There you go.
Yeah.
Once again, our website, ptppodcast.com. Thank you guys so much for listening.
And sticking through, we had a lot of raunchy shit tonight.
You're welcome, by the way.
Yeah.
Stick around, Eric Bolton listeners.
That's right.
It only gets worse from here.
We will be back. So thanks for listening, and stay interesting.
Kiss my curvy butt. Goodbye.